5 minutes, you would see how obscene, how outrageous.
Censorship is an outrage.
What about a training film for terrorists? A free lecture, how to make a nuclear bomb in your basement. Do you condone inciting to violence?
No, ma'am.
What about inciting to decadence?
Define decay.
That's what we're here for.
Not me.
We better try. The people of this country have only one absolute protection against chaos, the law. And you and I were appointed to this court for only one reason, to uphold and sustain that law.
Watch out. You can't turn the law into a straitjacket. The law's got to be a suit of clothes a man can wear. It's got to fit easy, be comfortable. Law shouldn't strap a man in at the throat or the brain or the crotch.
That's vivid. Do you know what you're doing? You're making Maloney more important than the law.
He is more important than the law.
This court doesn't try men. We put their trials on trial.
That's it. We're constantly examining the witness who isn't there. All we ever get to see are lawyers, cold records, cold briefs. Where's the human being? Where's the pain? We've got to touch flesh.
I'll tell you where the pain is. It's in the people who get hurt. The innocent little kid who sits in the dark theater while Maloney's filth pours over him. That's where the pain is.
You're on the right track. You're beginning to look at people. And when you let a little more humanity into your thinking, you might make a damn good justice. But I won't bet on it.
You're just being sweet to me because I'm a woman.
Jill Clayburgh has just been appointed the first female Supreme Court Justice. What is this, the China syndrome? And she is constantly at odds with veteran Justice Snow, played by Walter Matthau, in The First Monday in October. The writers of this movie, Jerome Lawrence and Robert E. Lee, are masters of writing confrontation dialogue where both sides have equal and valid points. Together they have teamed up to write two of my favorite plays, Inherit the Wind, which was later turned into a movie with Spencer Tracy, and The Night Thoreau Spent in Jail, which, to my knowledge, has not been made into a movie. They themselves have written the screenplay for this most recent transformation. There are two scenes which appear to have probably been written first and then the rest of the story built around them. There are mock trial scenes in which Matthau and Clayburgh take on the role of witness and prosecutor in order to try to prove their points to each other. In mock trial number 1, Matthau plays the pornographic film producer who's defending his rights, and Clayburgh is the prosecutor.
Have you been to New York lately? Times Square, 44th, 45th Street. Used to be a decent place to visit. Unforgettable music, powerful plays. Today, right around the corner on 8th Avenue, your picture's probably playing alongside a lot of other pornography and filth.
Watch out, lady. Scratch me, put me out of business, and who else gets scratched? The same end of the eraser can wipe out your unforgettable music and your powerful plays.
I'm glad I met you, Mr. Maloney. I feel I have a much better understanding of you. And Justice Snow. He may want the absolute freedom to go straight to hell. That's his right. But he has no right to force the rest of the country to take the trip with him. You may step down.
Yeah, you make a pretty good trial lawyer. Too bad you had to give it up.
You make a very good actor. I may always have the feeling there's a pornographic producer under your robes.
It makes me sick to my stomach to have to defend a principle as noble as the First Amendment on the basis of that can of film you found so offensive. But by God, as long as I have tongue and tonsils and the ability to talk, I'll defend everybody's right to speak and every man's right to be wrong.
I yield to you as the authority on that, Mr. Justice.
She's dangerous. That woman is positively dangerous. The men on this court have got to stick together, Mason. After all, there are only 8 of us left against all of her.
He follows her into her chambers, and they continue the mock trial, and it gets even better. These mock trials and a few other scenes provide the only real meat of the film. The rest is just filler. Too much time is spent on their personal lives, which in a film like this is almost irrelevant. The part of Joe Clayburgh could easily have been played by a man because it is made clear from the very outset that Matthau has no prejudices against females and none of the conflicts have anything to do with women's rights. However, it does open the way for a little humor and personality in the little scenes between the confrontations.
Well, where is she?
Maybe we ought to sound the warning buzzer a little sooner. I suppose she has things to do that we don't. After all, I don't have anything to do with my hair.
This is an historic occasion.
Like the Jesuits going co-ed.
You suppose you'll want to hang chintz curtains everywhere? I hate chintz.
Why am I nervous? She's the one who should be nervous.
Now, gentlemen, things are not going to be any different from the way they've been every 2 minutes to 10 in the history of the court. Now, you've got to think of her exactly as one of the brothers.
Good morning.
Justice Loomis, welcome. Welcome to the court.
Thank you.
Nice to have you.
Good morning,
ma'am.
Thank you for the lovely roses.
You don't send me roses anymore, CJ.
It's 9:58, gentlemen and Madam Justice.
We shake hands like this every day, every morning just before we take the bench.
Like 9 boxers coming into a ring. We shake hands before we knock each other out.
Mathau and Clayburgh are both well suited for these roles, and aside from the needless scenes, it is a rarity among today's films. It encourages you to think, and that alone makes it worthwhile. Everyone likes romantic comedies, and nearly everyone likes John Belushi. So what could be a safer bet for a box office hit than to put the two together? Well, there was some risk involved because John Belushi portrays an ordinary Joe, which is quite different from the crazed maniac we've all come to know and love. But he does it fairly adequately. Of course, he's still at his best, making faces, saying funny lines, and swearing. I tell you, nobody sounds better swearing than John Belushi. Anyway, in Continental Divide, he plays a hard-nosed, beer-drinking, chain-smoking, investigative reporter for the Chicago Sun-Times. After uncovering a political scandal that has put his life in jeopardy, his editor sends him to the Rocky Mountains to interview a bird freak until things cool down. Upon climbing to the top of some of these mountains, he finally finds the lady, but discovers that she hates reporters and won't even talk to him. That's okay with him. He didn't like the idea anyway. But his trail guide has gone back down the mountain and won't be back for at least 2 weeks, leaving Belushi desperate and alone. Not seeing any subways or checker cabs anywhere around that can get him out of there, he decides he better reason with this bird lady.
Do you think I like it here, for Christ's sake? I got no liquor, 9 cigarettes, and a grease monkey for company. I want to stay here only marginally more than I want to die trying to escape. You laughing in there or crying? I'm crying.
I suppose 2 weeks isn't that long.
Oh, no?
What?
Thank you. Thank you.
On one condition.
No story.
Not one word.
Being a little predictable, but fun nonetheless, they spend an enlightening 2 weeks together and start liking each other. On their daily hikes, he tries to pretend that this is all very natural to him, just like a stroll down Lakeshore Drive.
How you doing, Mr. Suchak?
Just great. Just great. This is so much fun. You know, I should get out more.
Be careful around these rocks.
Oh, no problem. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Do you want to rest for a bit?
No, not me. I'm fine. I can go all day. I'd like to get this broad in a bowling alley.
When I was up here last spring, they had 2 eaglets, Bruno and Sarah. I just hope Sarah didn't murder her brother.
You do that?
To get his food.
Really?
The young female is dominant. Nature's way.
The film has a lot of flaws, but in a film like this, they don't really matter that much. I mean, his incredible popularity as a columnist in Chicago is a little beyond belief. The stories and the situations are a little predictable, and his ability to be convincing as a serious actor is less than successful. But like I said, it's fun, it's enjoyable, and it even has an original yet happy ending. Continental Divide opens this week at the Blue Ridge East. I told you last week that Lawrence Kasdan, who wrote Continental Divide, also wrote Body Heat. He also makes his directorial debut with this film and does a very commendable job. It's very hot in Florida, and a struggling young local lawyer has just spotted a beauteous chick who's about to fall prey to some of the corniest come-on lines in recent memory.
I'm a married woman,
Meaning what?
meaning I'm not looking for company.
You should have said I'm a happily married woman. I need someone to take care of me, someone to rub my tired muscles, smooth out my sheets.
Get married.
I just need it for tonight.
Is it just me, or does William Hurt look and act an awful lot like Jeff Bridges? I know I may have asked you that before when I was telling you about William Hurt in Altered States and then again in Eyewitness, but I never heard any response, and I've never heard anybody say that since, so I don't know, it must just be me. When he goes to get a towel to wipe the snow cone off the front of her shirt, she disappears. But he tracks her down a few days later in a local bar, and the cornball lines continue.
You all right?
Yes, I'm fine. My temperature runs a couple of degrees high, around 100. I don't mind. The engine or something.
Maybe you need a tune-up.
Don't tell me. You have just the right tool.
I don't talk like that.
I'm gonna get out of here. I gotta get home.
I'll take you.
I have a car.
I'll follow you. I want to see the chimes.
Who could resist a chance to look at her chimes? Well, he can't, so off they go. If the camera angles, acting, lighting, and saxophone music in this scene seem very similar to the old styles of movie making, it's because they are. Using storylines and filming techniques borrowed from the 30s and 40s is what is making Lawrence Kasdan a rich man these days. Whether it's the action of the serials that he brought back in Raiders of the Lost Ark, or drama like in his newest Body Heat, the audiences and critics are eating it up. Body Heat is a very consuming movie that deserves high marks. I don't think it deserves quite the rave reviews it's been getting, but critics tend to go overboard on an underdog film like this that has no big names in the cast or technical credits. I felt just a little slighted by the end of the movie. I suppose it's not giving away too much to say that these two become lovers and then kill her very rich husband in hopes of inheriting his wealth and living happily ever after in a cooler place. Things don't go quite as smoothly as planned, and then there's a very surprising twist in the plot to end the movie. Now, I don't mind a twist in the plot or a surprise ending. Normally, I even enjoy it, but only if there's some justification for it. Like in an Alfred Hitchcock movie or Brian De Palma's Obsession, the intrigue comes from a lot of little unexplained things that happen throughout the movie that you may or may not catch, and then they all tie together at the end. If you're good, you can assemble all the mysteries as you're going and figure it out before they tell you. But even if not, you can reflect back and see how it worked and why this and that happened after you've been told. Writers and directors lately are continuing to use the surprise ending, but without laying any of the justifying foundation. In Body Heat, for example, you can look back through the whole story and find absolutely no clue to the surprise ending. And for me, that takes away most of the fun and suspense. But even with that missing element, Body Heat remains a good, consuming adult film. There was another new movie that opened up last week that I failed to mention. It's called Raggedy Man. However, it could have been called To Kill a Mockingbird in Color. Instead of a widowed father living in a small southern town raising two cute kids named Jem and Scout, Sissy Spacek plays a divorced mother living in a small southern town raising two cute kids named Henry and Harry. The town weirdo that no one talks to has been nicknamed Raggedy Man by the kids instead of Boo Radley. And instead of getting caught in a ham at the end while the town meanie tries to harm the family, this kid gets caught in an outhouse. And guess who kills the town meanie and turns out to be a nice guy after all? Eric Roberts from King of the Gypsies plays a sailor who falls in love with the local telephone operator while on liberty. The town folk don't like the situation very much and give him some trouble, which also causes problems for the two new lovers.
I can't keep an eye on this switchboard, and them too. If they're in here, they're yon all over town.
Yeah, well, you can't lock them up either. That's no good. Just
I know they're kids, Teddy. They happen to be my kids. This doesn't work for us. I can't make it work.
Sissy Spacek has just made an incredible climb into being a good actress, a great actress. I remember her early works, such as Prime Cut and Welcome to L.A. I didn't think she'd amount to anything, but her last three works have just been tremendous. Heartbeat, Coal Miner's Daughter, and now this, Raggedy Man. Anyway, let me lightly recommend Raggedy Man. That is, I wouldn't pay the full price of a $4 ticket to go see it, but I think it is worth the price of a matinee ticket at least. This next movie, I think, is worth the full price of a ticket, Only When I Laugh. Starts out with Marcia Mason returning from an alcoholic rehabilitation center, trying to restore order to her life. The first step, get reacquainted with her daughter, played by Christy McNichol, by having her move in with her, which has its strange repercussions from time to time.
You live in New York?
Well, our parents live in Paris, but we go to school here, Columbia, studying journalism. I'm a freshman.
I'm a senior. Yeah, I thought you were the older one. This party tonight is kind of loose, you know. If you guys would like to drop by, I'm sure my friend would be glad to have you.
Well, I don't know. What do you think, Carol? Carol?
But a few weeks and a few drinks later, things aren't funny anymore. Mason's boyfriend has left her alone again, and her two best friends aren't there for her this time due to troubles of their own. So it's back to the bottle, which unleashes years of pent-up frustration in her daughter.
I'm sorry for you. I'm sorry for Jimmy, and I'm sorry for Toby.
I'm sorry for anybody who's ever tried to do something for you because you don't give a damn about them. You don't give a damn about me, and worst of all, you don't give a damn about yourself. Hey, you watch the way you talk to me. Do you understand me? Go on. Get drunk. Jimmy will take care of you. He'll get you home all right. Everybody always takes care of Georgia. Stop it, Polly. Stop it. Then make me do something about it. You're a mother. Why don't you act like one? All right.
One of the best elements of the film is her relationship with a gay actor played superbly by James Coco. After witnessing that last scene, he comes to the rescue for the 3,000th time and sees her home safely.
Look who's talking, the Queen of Depression.
In high school, I wanted to be Susan Hayward. Second choice, Eleanor Dusa. Third choice, anybody but my mother.
But things get much worse before they get better, but they do get better. Only When I Laugh is a very good film.